In a tense courtroom setting on Monday afternoon, a woman known to the public only as Mia concluded her harrowing testimony against music mogul Sean "Diddy" Combs. Testifying under a pseudonym to protect her identity, Mia, a former employee in Combs' inner circle, shared deeply personal and disturbing details about the abuse she says she suffered at the hands of the entertainment tycoon. For hours, Mia sat in front of a jury, facing tough, pointed questions from Combs' defense attorney, Brian Steele. Through the cross-examination, Steele attempted to challenge her account, casting doubt on her actions and questioning why she never went to law enforcement with her allegations. It was a moment charged with tension as Mia, visibly emotional, explained her reasoning. When asked why she never contacted the police about the alleged physical and sexual abuse, Mia confessed that she never even considered it. The fear, she said, was far too great. On redirect examination, led by prosecutor Madison Smicer, Mia revealed a chilling reality that even the idea of going to human resources within Combs' own organization was a non-starter. Human resources only punished me unjustly, Mia testified. She recounted how she'd seen firsthand what happened to others who spoke up, referencing a former colleague named Kayla, who, according to Mia, was fired simply for discussing the abuse Combs inflicted on his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. That memory, seared into her mind, served as a stark warning of what would happen to her if she dared to come forward. Mia went on to explain that if she had reported the abuse, she believed without question that she would be fired immediately, smeared, and labeled as unstable. She feared she'd be dismissed as nothing more than a crazy person making everything up, with her career in the entertainment world and possibly her personal safety destroyed in an instant. The entertainment industry, she implied, was a tightly knit community where Combs' influence stretched far and wide, and she feared she would be ostracized, blacklisted, and left without options. The testimony painted a disturbing picture of the control and intimidation Mia says Combs exerted over those in his employ. Her account spoke to a culture of fear, a climate where speaking up wasn't just discouraged, it was dangerous. Mia described a world where silence wasn't just expected, it was enforced, and where anyone who stepped out of line was swiftly dealt with. It wasn't just the threat of losing her job that kept Mia quiet. It was the looming fear of being publicly humiliated, shamed, and retaliated against by a man she described as wielding immense power and wrath. This was not a simple case of workplace misconduct. According to Mia's testimony, it was a pattern of psychological manipulation, physical violence, and unchecked power designed to keep victims compliant and silent. As Mia stepped down from the witness stand, her words left an undeniable impact in the courtroom. Her account offered jurors a rare inside look into the alleged toxic environment surrounding one of music's most powerful figures, and set the stage for what is proving to be one of the most closely watched and emotionally charged trials in recent memory. During cross-examination, Mia, a former assistant to Sean "Diddy" Combs, was asked why she never contacted law enforcement about the abuse she claimed to have endured. In her testimony, Mia explained that she never considered reporting the incidents to the police or even to Combs' Human Resources Department because she believed doing so would lead to immediate retaliation and severe personal consequences. On redirect examination, Mia clarified that within Combs' organization, human resources was not a safe option. She recounted witnessing a former colleague named Kayla being fired simply for discussing the alleged abuse of Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. This, Mia said, reinforced her belief that any complaint would not be taken seriously and would instead result in her termination. She feared that if she spoke out, she would be branded as unstable, accused of fabricating the allegations, and quickly pushed out of the industry. Mia also testified about the professional and personal risks she faced. She believed that coming forward would not only cost her job, but would also ruin her career prospects in the entertainment industry. According to her, leaving or speaking out against someone as powerful as Combs meant losing everything she had built. She stated that she would have been left without credibility or the ability to find employment in the same or any related field. Additionally, Mia expressed genuine fear for her physical safety. She told the court that she was aware of Combs' influence and capacity for retaliation, describing his power and temper as something she did not want to provoke. This constant fear, both for her professional future and her well-being, kept her trapped in a job and environment where abuse and mistreatment reportedly went unchecked. Her testimony painted a picture of a toxic and intimidating workplace culture where employees felt powerless to report wrongdoing and where those who tried faced swift and harsh consequences. Through Mia's account, the court gained insight into the challenges faced by those working within close proximity to influential public figures and the often hidden dangers of speaking out against them. On redirect examination, Mia further described the nature of her job working for Sean Diddy Combs, emphasizing that a significant part of her responsibilities extended beyond traditional office duties. One of her key obligations, she explained, was promoting Combs' events, projects, and personal milestones on her own social media pages. Mia testified that this expectation wasn't optional, it was an understood requirement of the position. She recounted how, whenever Combs believed she wasn't fulfilling this social media responsibility adequately, the consequences would be swift and severe. According to Mia, she would be subjected to verbal abuse in front of others, screamed at, humiliated, and publicly ridiculed. Her job security would be openly threatened during these outbursts, creating an environment of constant fear and anxiety. The prosecution presented several of Mia's past social media posts to the jury, including birthday messages she had posted for Combs. Mia confirmed that even seemingly personal gestures, such as wishing Combs a happy birthday online, were part of her job description. She explained that not participating in this type of public flattery could result in immediate repercussions. "If I didn't post for his birthday," Mia testified, "I would be in trouble." The prosecutor then asked Mia about a particular moment when she created a personal scrapbook for Combs as a birthday gift, a gesture that went beyond professional obligation. When asked why she felt compelled to go to such lengths for a man she claimed had mistreated her, Mia answered with haunting honesty, "Because when he was happy, I was safe." Her response underscored the control and power imbalance she experienced while working for Combs. It highlighted a survival strategy often adopted by individuals in abusive working relationships, the belief that appeasing an abuser, keeping them pleased, or avoiding displeasure could protect them from further harm. For Mia, ensuring that Combs remained satisfied wasn't just about keeping her job. It was about maintaining a fragile sense of personal safety in a volatile environment. This portion of Mia's testimony provided the jury with a deeper understanding of how the alleged abuse extended beyond physical or sexual misconduct and into the daily, insidious control over her professional and personal life. It painted a broader picture of psychological manipulation, where public praise and social media promotion weren't merely job duties but tools of domination within a toxic, high-pressure celebrity orbit. As Mia's testimony continued, she was asked once more about why she didn't feel like she could leave her job working for Sean Diddy Combs, despite the alleged abuse and toxic work environment she described. Her explanation shed light on the intense fear, manipulation, and professional consequences she believed awaited her if she ever attempted to walk away. Mia testified that if she had left her position, she was convinced she would have been stripped of any credibility she had built in the industry. In her own words, she explained that she wouldn't have been able to find employment in the same field or likely any industry connected to entertainment or media. The fear of professional exile was real, and it loomed over her constantly. In an industry where personal relationships and reputation often mean everything, Mia believed that speaking out against a powerful figure like Combs would have rendered her untouchable. She further testified about a specific incident when she made an effort to leave her job. According to Mia, when she tried to resign or distance herself, she was met with immediate resistance not from Combs directly, but from his chief of staff. The chief of staff, acting on Combs' behalf, told Mia to return to work, effectively blocking her attempt to escape. This moment served as a chilling reminder of the control Combs allegedly exercised through those around him, ensuring that even when Mia tried to leave, there were loyal gatekeepers in place to keep her tethered to the job. Most disturbingly, Mia also spoke candidly about her fear for her physical safety. She said that, deep down, she just knew what Combs was capable of: his power, his temper, and his capacity for retribution. It wasn't just about losing her job or reputation. It was about a genuine, visceral fear that she could be harmed. Mia testified, "I just knew his power and his wrath." Those few words carried the weight of her experiences, hinting at a climate of intimidation and dominance that extended far beyond the professional sphere. This testimony painted a vivid, deeply unsettling picture of what life was like for Mia during her time working for Combs. It suggested a world where personal safety, professional survival, and basic dignity were all held hostage by one man's power and influence, and where those who found themselves inside his inner circle had little means of escape. Later in the afternoon session, the prosecution called Sylvia O'Kane to the stand, an area director of sales and marketing at the prestigious Beverly Hills Hotel. While O'Kane wasn't directly involved in the incidents at the center of the case, her role as a custodial witness for hotel records brought important, corroborative details into the trial. On the stand, O'Kane testified about the hotel bills associated with Sean Diddy Combs' stays at the Beverly Hills Hotel. These weren't ordinary room charges. Among the expenses were extra fees for cleaning and damages, small but telling pieces of evidence that hinted at the disruptive and chaotic nature of some of Combs' visits to the hotel. The jury was shown one bill from May 2015 that included a $500 charge labeled oil damage. Another receipt detailed a $300 charge for cleaning the drapes, along with a service fee for an errand to pick up 5 candles, which had been specially ordered for Combs' room. While these details might seem minor on the surface, they carried significant weight in context. The charges hinted at incidents of recklessness, disorder, or other activities behind closed doors, patterns of behavior that might align with the testimonies of alleged abuse, intimidation, and volatile conduct described by Combs' former employees and associates. These hotel receipts weren't just paper records. They were fragments of a larger, unsettling narrative. Each itemized charge pointed to a world where money, power, and indulgence often shielded troubling behavior from public scrutiny. It was yet another layer in a story the prosecution sought to build, one where the smallest details of Combs' professional and personal life left a paper trail of excess and potential misconduct. As the courtroom carefully followed the unfolding details, one particular revelation drew the jury's attention: the use of an alias by Sean Diddy Combs during his stays at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Sylvia O'Kane, still on the stand, testified that she personally recalled several reservations made for Combs under the pseudonym Frank Black. This wasn't an unusual practice for high-profile celebrities. In the entertainment industry, it's common for famous guests to check in under aliases to protect their privacy, avoid public attention, or shield their movements from unwanted scrutiny. What made this detail significant wasn't the use of an alias itself, but rather the name Frank Black, a clear nod to the late rapper and Bad Boy Records artist, the Notorious B.I.G., who had famously gone by the nickname Frank White in his music. This subtle homage carried more than just sentimental weight. It tied into testimony from a former Combs assistant, George Kaplan, who had previously mentioned that Combs often used this particular alias during hotel stays. In this trial, every detail, no matter how small, seemed to add to a broader picture of control, secrecy, and carefully managed public perception. The jury was also shown a hotel record listing Cassie Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend, and one of his accusers as an accompanying guest on one of these reservations made under the alias. According to O'Kane's testimony, Ventura's name wasn't simply listed as a guest. She had full access to the reservation. This meant she could charge room service, amenities, and other services directly to the room, an indication of her status within Combs' inner circle at the time. This piece of evidence, like many others presented during the trial, wasn't presented in isolation. It served to connect names, dates, locations, and relationships, offering the jury a deeper understanding of the dynamics within Combs' world, a world where power, loyalty, and fear often seem to intersect behind closed doors. As the courtroom drama continued to unfold, attention gradually shifted toward the days ahead, where the prosecution laid out a strategic roadmap of witnesses expected to testify against Sean "Diddy" Combs. One particularly anticipated testimony is from Eddie Garcia, an employee of the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles who worked in the hotel security department. Garcia is scheduled to take the stand next, with his direct examination expected to last about 90 minutes. His testimony carries weight not only because of the events he may have witnessed firsthand, but also due to the fact that he's set to testify under an immunity order. In legal circles, this kind of arrangement often signals a reluctant or previously unwilling witness, someone who may have had legal exposure or personal risk attached to their testimony, but who has now been granted immunity in exchange for their full, honest account. It's a move prosecutors use carefully, typically when a witness holds critical information that could impact the outcome of a case. Entertainment lawyer and former litigator Lisa Bonner, though not involved in the trial, weighed in on what this could mean for the case. She explained that when a witness comes forward under immunity, it tends to bolster the credibility of their account in the eyes of a jury. It suggests they had something at stake, a reason to hesitate, and are now coming forward truthfully, possibly against their own interests or at significant personal risk. And Eddie Garcia isn't the only name on the docket. Prosecutors revealed plans to call several other key figures, including Frank Piazza, a forensic video expert likely brought in to authenticate and explain video evidence already presented in court, Derek Ferguson, a former Combs employee whose testimony could offer an insider's view of day-to-day operations and dynamics within Combs' world, and Brianna Bongolin, another individual who has previously accused Combs of sexual battery. Perhaps most notably, the courtroom is preparing for the testimony of another accuser known only by the pseudonym Jane. She is expected to take the stand as early as Wednesday afternoon. Due to her travel plans, including an international flight scheduled for Thursday, prosecutors are working to ensure her testimony is completed in a timely manner. This lineup of witnesses suggests that the prosecution is methodically building its case, layering firsthand accounts, video evidence, and insider testimony to paint a comprehensive and often chilling portrait of alleged abuse, control, and intimidation inside Combs' orbit. Each witness adds another dimension to the story, revealing the complex, often concealed relationships, abuses of power, and calculated efforts to maintain secrecy within the powerful entertainment empire Combs once ruled. The jury, having now heard emotional and harrowing testimony from Combs' former assistant Mia and seeing damning hotel records, is being primed for another round of explosive revelations. And as these new witnesses take the stand, the full scope of allegations and evidence against one of music's most famous moguls continues to come into clearer, sharper focus.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I just want to ask you guys for a huge favor. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help us out a lot and allows us to continue making these videos for you guys. Thank you so much. Now let's get started.